You need a spoon for a liquid?
No, it's not. It's not the fact that you're not using a spoon to eat the applesauce. It's that you're eating the applesauce as a single dish, I guess. Applesauce is a condiment in the UK.
Oh, well, it's like a side dish.
Yeah,
Here,
but it's more a sauce here than even a dish.
Oh, so here you get it as like, oh, I'm going to eat this and applesauce, but you don't put that on those things. You have it with those things.
That's weird. What an interesting little difference.
But if it's pork chops, you put it on top.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Pork chops and applesauce.
I don't actually like pork chops and applesauce, but I respect that you are right and that everyone should. I'm just an aberrant.
I like it, but not
My wife hates
the
it.
typical applesauce that you might get or buy because they make it too sweet.
No sugar added.
So,
Are
you
we back?
yeah, we've been back for a while. We we went back right as I was assassinating you for not assassinating you for not spooning me at night.
Not a spoon. Is it going
I said at the beginning of the Mass Effect stream today, I am not today. I'm not
You're just
with
not,
it.
okay.
I'm not. This is not a good day for Ollie. But a great day for entertainment if you like watching a man slowly delve into madness.
Or a boy slowly go.
Or a boy.
Oh.
You know. One day I'll be a man. Melody, you notice all of the bodies around you have one eye missing. But there's more than that. They have one eye carved out. There's more than that. One eye carved out and by the angles had to be done by themselves. And the other eye is mutated and changed in that their pupils, although they just stare deadly into the night, have been changed into a cross shape. And your phase senses start to make your hair rise on end as you feel something horribly unnaturally happening.
So Melody slowly draws a spear and goes to the others. These orcs, humans, dragonkin, they died 2 winters ago. Not as if they were killed by Zola elves, should have been longer. And even this, the eyes, one eye, each of them is missing an eye. They did this, each did this to themselves. And the other eye, there's something strange, unnatural.
And when you look at the
like
little
visibly-
totems, yeah, you're visibly shaken. When you look at the other totems, you see that to call it a symbol is a bit much, but just figures with one cross eye in very it's strange and unsettling. And then you notice, Melody, when you stop speaking and before anyone else really starts speaking, that on these little totems, those symbols start to glow. Very vibrant, almost lilac-y, purpley blue. Purple that becomes very intense blue. You hear a sound which is like the garble of many voices. And a sound actually that sounds like when you tried to break one of the wards. Anytime you tried to break a ward, when you tried to break the wards in Bastilion, of just magical breaking. And something going wrong. Magic reacting with magic. As you see a circle of magical symbols appear around you in the air, or appear in front of you in the air, and from it, from a speck of darkness that tears open, and when from inside you can see the night sky, even though it is bright day, a very strange creature emerges. It's almost like a blob with an eye in the center of it, and a screeching jaw that doesn't quite seem to close properly.
Not another ghostly beholder.
A multitude of eyes come from its pinkish, purplish, mottled, even scarred flesh. And each one of those eyes, on the end of the stalks or in the center of its face, are crosses. And as other tentacles sort of drag out of the portal it's coming from, and almost like drag along the floor as it floats, 3 or so feet up, I think you should probably roll for me initiative.
I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be first.
Now roll initiative. If you
was
did it beforehand,
Yeah.
you haven't learnt your lesson. But my bad. I did say to.
As a result.
I did say to roll it, so that's my bad. I always do that. I get excited, I guess.
I got one less. Alas. Okay.
Let me set up the battle map.
One alas.
So I had it with Melody and Haven leading, which
This
just
makes
makes
it tasty.
Beholders. Yeah, I know, right? They're my favorite. They're my favorite snack. Let me just adjust some camerinos real quick.
It's the eyes, You get all the eyes out and you squeeze them, and then you cook the body in the eye sauce.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about eye sauce, but I didn't. Let me get my Daysburks. The only person who hasn't rolled is Gilwain.
Gilwin Gallo.
You rolled, but before I changed the sheets, I think.
I did it twice. Okay, I'll do it again.
You're not on my end.
He did do it twice, now thrice.
Twice,
It just keeps getting worse.
thrice,
Keeps getting worse.
thrice times a lady. Yeah, you ain't ever heard that classic ballad. So first on is Melody, which is not a surprise. She was the one who first noticed what a kind of unnatural magic that you've not felt before, Melody. You felt fey magic very intimately. You felt shadow magic, and in many of its forms. With Amelia around, you've begun to understand what arcane magic is like, and you've never really seen much of divine magic. But at least you don't think this is it. It's something different entirely, as you felt that energy in the air, and then charge to action.
Right. The interesting thing about this is dark. This is dark conditions, and I don't have dark vision.
It's not up. Sorry, it is light. I thought I changed
good.
that, but I did not press the right button. It is meant to be bright light.
Okay.
I'm just trying to change it because there's something down here is not hidden by my camera. I don't know what it is. There's something down there. I don't know.
Maybe it's a beholder.
I think it's a bit of Scott's green screen.
What?
I don't know. I got a little camera problem, but I'm fixing it.
I was like, we don't see it over here, so.
Well, I know you don't see it because it's on the stream. I know Haven's got like a 6 intelligence.
It's not a stream either.
Aaron just did
It is.
And was like, don't be worried about killing some of the PCs while I'm gone.
Oh, don't worry, Aaron. I'm way ahead of it.
We never talked about you while you weren't here. Didn't happen.
We didn't. Scott did.
I did not. I did not.
There we go.
We've got it.
It was Dean.
Oh, so you're gonna start off with conjure animals?
I'm summoning once again a extra large bear using polar bear
know what?
stats, but I've never seen a polar bear, so I'm just using.
Yeah. We're just using it. It's a big fey bear of some variety.
We've been
And I'm summoning
traveling through the
behind
tundra.
it. I want it to like come into existence behind it and just like rawr. Literally.
Thank you for the bear impression.
Wow.
Rawr.
Oh, he just got bigger. He was like, bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. And then the bear rolls bear initiative. Unfortunately, it got a 1, so
initiative.
we're gonna have to wait a little while for the bear.
He
He
did not
barely
have
joined the combat.
Oh, that was actually pretty funny.
Then I will just make that do. I think I'm gonna wait and see what.
You ready with your spear shield or just spear?
I've just got spear at the moment.
What were you saying, Mr. Vale?
It was mostly just a query that is this a medium creature then? Cool.
It's sort of tendrils and tentacles.
Expand out beyond that.
Are a little. So it's sort of almost much larger, but the creature itself is there in the middle.
Cool.
It's not actually that big, as like monsters go. The like actual the head more or less. Haven.
Yes, sir. Oop. There you go. Sorry.
What are you laughing at, Mr. Gilwin?
Just Scott.
I propped it on me. I said, oop. And here we go. You ready?
I am ready for your turn 1 chaos.
Here we go.
Also, you're flanking with the bear.
You are flanking with the bear. I don't know if that's why you gave yourself advantage, but it's true.
It's not, but that's okay. Does 15 hit?
15 does hit. Good source.
1 second. Is it 6? Yeah, it's 56. So that's 10 plus 2. Second attack. I imagine that also hits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 10 plus 6. And third attack. Sorry, 8 plus 6, so 12 and 14.
Yeah.
And that'll also hit.
Yeah.
Plus. Bam.
Yeah. Freaking badass. Your
That's
turn 1s are just beautiful. You launch from the snow when you felt something going wrong, launching at this monster. Just.
You're like Levitz from Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah, it's one of the things where unlike a lot of magical creatures, your pike actually has no issue piercing this thing, and it sort of like sends it like every bit of force sends it like spiraling a little bit, and needs to take a moment to like reassert itself in space. After that, it's going to attack you.
You find our combined attacks unbearable.
Roll me a 1d6 for the psychic damage you just dealt.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
To all of us.
Yeah, to all of us.
Well, I'll just give you my 2 cents.
Can we kick him from the stream yet?
I hope so.
Ollie's
like, I've tried.
If I kill enough of these characters, maybe.
I try to remove him, but he's metastasized.
I don't think I like that.
You don't like that, my friend.
You don't like that.
All right. So first of all, it sort of like reels back and it's like, and then the eyes sort of shoot a whole bunch of lasers. This is ray of blackness just sort of shoots at Haven. Haven, make me a Constitution save.
Oh, those are totally my best saves.
Are they?
All of them. No.
Non-intelligence saves? That is not good.
It's not bad. It's an action point. He tells me to die.
That would be a really good time for an action point. I actually don't hate action points. I just never remember to use them, which can be construed as hate. But I never remember to use showers, but I like showers.
Toss us some inspiration, man.
So that'll be... Let me do some math.
Yeah, I mean,
22 necrotic damage.
He's gonna look at me.
As the ray of necromancy hits you, and then give me a wisdom save, please.
Oh, I'm so good at those.
Wonder what necrotic damage feels like.
Depends on the thing. It's almost tearing you apart.
It's like really bad diarrhea throughout your entire body.
Yeah. Wow.
That's not how I would describe it.
Expelling large parts of your liquid soul.
Cool. Great. And it fires that. So another ray sort of hits you, and it's almost like aimed at the side of your head, whereas the dark ray hits you in the chest. You've been with Drow for a long time. You are quite aware of the magic that they can use to pacify lesser races in their mind, and you are able to overcome its attempt to tug at your mind.
Haven. Your mind is so simple, everything slides off it.
Just for funsies.
Then that is so lucky that it wasn't an int save. Then Melody, give me a dex save.
Oh dear. Here goes my bear
Tune is trying to save.
If he can do anything with it. Oh, okay.
A ray launches at you. It's almost a sort of it's dark like the necromancy ray, but slightly different. You have no idea what happens as it sort of like blows up actually one of the totems beside you, and the rock or the magic sort of fades from it. Vale, you are within bow range.
1, 2, 3.
But you're gonna sword it.
Bonus action dash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still gonna shoot it. But I'm shooting it from closer range. Twang!
That's a good hit.
If you're this close, why don't you just swing at it with your sword?
I like how you're speaking so calmly as you're like being paggered by
Vale.
necrotic bolts.
It's a very.
But Vale, if you're this close, why don't you swing at it with your sword?
It's a very
I just can't do it. I just can't do it, Haven. It's about the principle. Anyway, that was as close to a George I could do. Yeah, that arrow strikes it in the eye. And it goes through. The eye kind of bulges out. And the inner eye almost like sort of like starts to ooze. And then you see this sort of, this purple-blue magic arcs over it, starting to repair things. But while it's repairing the eye, it leaves these big tears of magic on the side of it, just sort of ooze out. It's almost like ink underwater. Just this sort of purplish, bluish blackness that doesn't look so unnatural, squidding out into space around it. It's shaking and having some serious trouble keeping together. And that's you, because you don't have a knife when you're using your bow. Gilwyn.
Do I know what
this
thing is?
You can give me a...
I know what it is.
Arcana?
Arcana or history?
Arcana.
This is a kind of beholder. It is not a true beholder. There are forms of lesser beholders, even forms of greater beholders. This is a Goth. This is a beholder bound of magic, made of magic. It eats magic, and from the ritual going on around, you actually even remember rumors of there being a beholder in the north that was destroyed by a group of heroes, but it had a cult. And then you connect the dots that they were trying to summon in more beholders or something, and it didn't quite work. You being here triggered the motion of their totems, and this is what came through from the other side, from the void, which is where beholders come from.
If I go behind this rock, will I break line of sight?
Yes.
Then I will do that.
But it seems whatever it's looking at, it has not started to. It doesn't see you.
Doing it anyway.
Gillen's like, peace out. Do that.
I'm gonna cast Healing Word at 3rd level on Haven. And I'm gonna sing him that song that he started singing before we left. I can't remember it, but I'm singing.
There's a clip, so you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can learn it another time. Pretty shitty.
10
Still
is
10.
It's about half the damage I took. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Awesome. After that is the bear. Take a wicked guess what the bear's gonna do.
Poop.
Rawr.
Poop bear.
I believe the bear is gonna boot Beholder gently and then dissipate.
I think he's gonna sit down and crack open a nice cold.
He's just a chill
So-
dude. He's just
Nice
you could just use conjure animals, just have someone to hang out with.
I legit see Melody would probably.
I
do
know, right? All right, the bear.
We'll show you
makes
how to
two
make a nice
attacks.
Pathfinder
Huh.
summoner. You'll love it.
It misses both attacks. It's one of the things where it's sort of swiping at this thing. It also almost doesn't want to get closer, but being summoned by Melody, it almost looks at her and then keeps on going to attack. At this point, the thing is moving very erratically. Even it's very hard to notice, and this will be things you talk back to yourselves later, being like, "Did this happen?" It blinks and reappears just a couple of inches to its side, but enough to like completely throw off a couple of attacks. After that is Melody.
Okay, freehand infestation.
Oh yeah, that's great. Let's see if it saves. It does not. And then it rolls northeast, which is what, that way into the bear. Boom, boom.
That provokes attack of opportunity from me.
Yeah, it does.
Pretty crazy.
Exactly.
That is why that cantrip is so strong.
That
Yeah,
is
it's
basically
really good.
my new combo is basically summon a bear on the other side, use infestation.
Yeah, it's like the bear's like in here, but push back. Yeah, it's sort of like yeah. So a swarm of bugs starts attacking a thing. It starts sort of blinking away, biting at some of them, struggling and pulling itself back as a writhing mess of tentacles and eyes. Haven swings at it but doesn't manage to hit it. Anything else you want to do now, Melody? Are you good?
Moving a bit closer, and I'll make that do.
Then it's Haven. Oh, I keep forgetting to use one of his abilities. So bad. So Haven, make me a wisdom save.
There it is.
Haven, you did not move that turn. You found it impossible to move any of your limbs. Anything more than a twitch of a finger was just impossible. You're stunned.
Ah, they used to do this when they would call me to their bed chambers.
When it would.
Great.
Well, that way he was hard. He couldn't move.
All
I
right.
didn't hear what you
I'm going to
said.
shoot some eye beams at you now.
Oh, not cool.
I thought it was pretty cool.
So one, I don't know if you automatically fail when you're stunned or if you have disadvantage. It makes more sense if you automatically fail dex saves, but let me just check because I know it says this on the DMG shield thing.
Say it on the quick
Ollie.
as well.
I didn't make my concentration check last round. I took 22 points of damage, and so that should be DC. Is it 5 plus half damage?
Yeah,
Or is it
of,
just
of each
damage
attack.
taken, or-
But yeah, what do you call? Oh, you're considering Hunter's Mark. Yeah,
You automatically fail strength and dex saving throws.
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, it's
I would have lost it.
cool. I always forget Hunter's Mark's concentration, even though it totally should be and makes total sense to be. I just forget it exists. So a almost a wide beam hits Haven, and as he's just sort of standing there, not able to do anything, he is tumbled backwards into Melody, pushing them both back a little bit more. Then the next one
I'd say something cute, but I can't move my jaw.
launches at, I know, right? Launches at Vale. Give me a con save. Actually, the next two launch at Vale. So give me. No, the next race shooting at the bear.
Oh,
The bear has to make a dex save. I don't know how much. That's really good.
well, at least the bear has
It's
plenty of-
my my player passive is I have secret advantage on rolls against Beholder Rays.
Yes, bloody hell!
Comes
this
up
is
so
true.
often.
Actually, I think you just have advantage against beholders.
So you
Full
take 8 necrotic damage, Vale, as you sort of manage to like duck out of the way of the beam, but it still hits you for just a moment of a second, causing this withering pain almost in your heart.
Now,
the bear.
query. Feel
Yeah.
free to say. Now, this is because I've not played a rogue of this level before. Uncanny dodge.
Mhm.
When an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack,
Yeah.
the beholder.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it for this one, but I just wanted to.
That
know the
you
whole
can
thing.
uncanny dodge that.
Cool, cool, cool.
That's like one of the best examples, actually.
I may as well do that, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'll do
yeah.
it. So
I'm not going to do it unless you say I can do it, in which case I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to be sure because I've not played a rogue.
No, that's how uncanny dodge works. It's basically, you know, the dex save thing. It's just how fast you react, and some things, even if you react really fast, you're going to be hit with like the shockwave or just a little bit of it. That's you just can dodge way better than anyone else. So the bear, unless it rolls terrible damage, which it did. It sort of one of the eyes wheels around and hits the bear with a ray of fire.
Oh, poor bear.
But the bear has a lot of HP, so
It does.
it's pretty fine.
Tank bear.
After that is Vale. The Gorth is still sort of shaking and twitching with this magic leaking from it in different places from every wound that you've inflicted on it.
I will draw the Comet Blade and Parrying Dagger. And then 1, 2, 3. Well, actually, 2, 3. And then swing.
Ha 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 ha. Yes.
Let me do sneak attack as well. Which actually, I rolled that well on my damage last time with my bow.
So,
One more damage, sorry.
how do you try and land a killing blow on this thing with your Comet Blade?
So imagine like the Comet Blade is like eerily magical, but it's not, isn't it? It's a weird one.
The metal has magical properties, the blade is not magical. Otherworldly properties.
So I imagine Vale would like come up while the bear is threatening from behind. Bring the Comet Blade down on one side to take off 2 tentacles. Bring it down on the other to take off another 2. And then like push it up below the eye into the beholder.
Like into the top of the jaw. As you do that, you see more of these tears break in every slash, the magic coming out. And you realize it's getting brighter and brighter. Make me a little old dexterity save there, Mr. Vale.
Oh boy.
You pass. You still take 13 force damage as the Gorth explodes in a blast of magic that makes a very sort of like just arcane ethereal sound. It doesn't sound like an explosion that you accomplished accompany with. It doesn't sound like something you'd hear from a cannon in the middle of a war. It's just this strange shrieking noise, and then there's nothing left but the eye stalks that you left on the ground when you slashed it up. And it's gone. And the bear fucking blew to shreds in that explosion. Sorry, mate. It did not do that.
At some point, Haven will say, and that is why you come up and use your sword.
Immediately after the fight ends, like Melody's probably still supporting Haven from like where he was pushed back. She just glows of magic and cure wounds him, and then goes across and does the same to Vale, just because you just saw him take a hit. So you both get some hit points back.
Yay! I'm almost to full.
Yay! I'm not as hurt.
Do I sense any lingering traces of that magic or anything?
Give me an Arcana check.
Yeah, with my brilliant Arcana.
Hard to tell. Some of the totems are still glowing. Not all of them.
I am totally going around and smashing those totems.
You just give them just each like a good shillelagh smack.
Yeah.
Your spear, when in absorbed with magic, just slices through the stone with not a problem. With a similar thing, there's even like sometimes the runes crackle and pop with that void magic for a few moments before you're left with nothing but the sound of the wind below you.
Haven all of a sudden seems to be possessed by a metagaming nerd who's like, all right, you see, these kind of beholders, they actually are attracted to devouring powerful magic items. So unless it's been here for so long and ate them all, we could probably look around and find some.
I mean, you already know that doesn't make sense. It was summoned.
I know. It's also Yarv, so
Yeah.
nothing's canon here.
Nothing's the
And
same.
none of the original canon works here. So.
What the hell was that thing?
Oh, that was my inner spirit. That's
Not
my
you.
spirit animal's a
that!
nerd.
Yeah.
What are the tentacles? on the floor?
That was my inner spirit. They always said
Unnatural.
had that inside.
Unnatural, strange magic. Not a magic Melody has felt before.
Bill doesn't want to be too sassy, but he's like, well, I think we worked out it's not natural magic.
From behind the rock, I shout, "Is it dead?"
It is dead, Gil.
Okay, and I'll come out.
A couple of eye stalks on the ground, or like 4 on the ground, are wiggling like.
I am stamping on those.
Yeah.
Melody.
Ooh, I want to pick one up and just kind of like
Scoop.
wave it like I'm trying to cast a spell because I've seen wands,
Wow.
so I could cast a spell from it and be like, Avada Kedavra! You know, like
It's like seeing a monkey hit a nut with a rock. It's like, do something, but I've not done this enough to work out how to crack the nut open.
Spectus Patronum, whatever. However it works. Latin words that vaguely mean meanings.
Can I please pick up one of these?
Yeah,
give it to you.
Haven picked up one, you pick up the other. Melody was squished the other 2 before you got there.
God damn it.
Under her boot.
So, while we are touching its disgusting remnants,
They're
what
warm.
is it? They're warm. Oh, that's somehow worse. Is it slimy?
Here, I'm gonna give it to you, Vale.
Well, doesn't touch it.
It's
Oh.
oozing something. Like a clear, sticky liquid.
I believe
Huh.
they're. Well, they have a few names actually, but I think some people call them beholders.
That was. We killed. Well, they
I
aren't
think it
all that,
wasn't-
are they?
I don't think it was a papa beholder, let's say.
Right. That would make sense because Haven didn't die.
Why would I die?
Well, I mean, I saw you take that blast to your face.
I took a few.
Did you even close your eyes?
Oh no. You can't lose
He, like,
you can't
looks
lose sight of the
like,
target.
Oh no, and his eyes are like black.
He's got pink eye in both of his eyes. Can't lose sight of the target.
Somehow, I imagine if you had taken, as you say, a couple of hits from a beholder, you may not be in such good mood.
It wasn't just trying to hurt me. It was also trying to control me.
And you resisted it?
Not completely, I say, and I'll give kind of a semi-embarrassed but genuinely think it's funny chuckle over towards Melody.
Melody, who is probably lost interest in the conversation by this point. Looking around for more totems to smash.
Haven, can I hold on to that other eye stalk?
Of course.
Thank you.
Now, these totems you smashed, they had figures on that bore this eye, this cross. Melody. Has anyone ever seen this symbol before? I don't believe I have.
No.
Gilwin, with that history roll, you vaguely remember something about the beholder having something like that. vaguely.
Okay. Having something like that, like a cross.
Yeah.
For an eye, or
Okay.
a cult with eye cross things.
The cross just sounds familiar to you.
Vague. Maybe it was in a book I read when I was a kid. But
This is quite strange. We should be on our guard in case we encounter any more things with crosses for eyes. For that matter, anything with an eye patch, we should also consider an enemy until we've seen both eyes.
Check corpses from now on before we get too close.
Yes.
Sweet. So you keep traveling. As you say, you intend to check corpses. How do you intend to do that? Because you very quickly find another frozen corpse in the dirt.
Well, I'm working on the assumption that if there's anything more like that, that it's going to that you're going to get a gradually greater accumulation of corpses.
You'll also
right?
see the totems and be aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm being careful, but I'm still just effectively going up to a corpse and poking at it, checking.
I would
it,
also say there's some other obvious ones in that if they're face up, can you see the missing eye?
Yeah, for sure.
And also, do they have an obvious cause of death? Because those guys just look like they collapsed there, right? Rather
Yes,
than like having
but
arrows.
then out here,
out.
that's not that strange.
No, but like if you see someone with an arrow in, they're a lot less likely to be one of those cultists.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Melody, why don't you give me a survival roller?
On the bright side, the dead bodies are staying dead.
That is always a bright side.
So as you travel, you do see a couple more of these. You poke them. They are, as they are, the one eye is missing. It's not uniform which eye it is, and the eye is changed. If you see another totem, Melody smacks it to stone chunks before it can do anything, if it was going to do anything. So the rest of your travel is relatively peaceful from this. You don't get bothered by these for a time. Even after like 2 hours, you see no more of them. If you see a body in the dirt, it is a skeleton that has been here for far longer than 5 years. And you start to get ever closer. In fact, you can actually see the rocky, water-filled ravine that would have made the perfect docking space for a raiding band of orcs. You actually see it before you as you're sort of traveling down the rocky paths, the rocky ways that lead there, and Haven leads. And as you get closer, you see just these a ship's graveyard. These old, rotten wooden structures of the remains of a ship. Any metal parts that remain, the wood parts treated properly, still remain in pretty good quality. Well, not good quality. They still remain as a skeleton of their former selves, just crashed up along the rocks, sunk into the bottom of the water. The water's relatively clear in some places where you can see it going down, but there's also a lot of places where these ships are just, chunks of them are just above the water, reclaimed by nature. Look like right now, actually, there were maybe nests of birds at some point. And you start to make your way into that ravine proper. As you do, you notice more skeletons. These ones are very clearly the skeletons of orcs. They have been... You almost notice a line of them, as if, as you're entering this ravine, someone stopped a whole bunch of them from entering at some point. And as you explore further, you do see some more bodies. But they are not the bodies of orcs. They are a more humanoid body. As you takes time, travel through, and I imagine it's mostly Vale who is sort of exploring through here. It's sort of its own little insular place. You do find a little nook in a corner where you find 3 skeletons in tattered, but still dulled, but still together, Solar Guard armor.
I mean, I want to move up enough to make sure the area is secure, but I'm obviously gonna
You're with him,
take
but
a
giving
wide
him
berth
space.
for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, can I roll like an insight or a history to find out how they died in this area? Like, is there like arrows, or they've been forced against the corner? Like,
Insight's actually a great roll for that.
Investigation.
Investigation would also work. Unfortunately, sort of the bubbling of emotions of this very much might be the corpse of your mother.
It's me, ma'am.
Means you can't think straight right now. You can't look any further. You could go and examine the bodies, but you have no idea how they got here.
I look at Vale for like permission to check for bodies.
Yes, yes, of course. My mother used a sword and shield.
So I'm going to check bodies. Can I know skeleton it would be difficult, but there would still be signs of maybe with elves it would be even harder. But can I still make it at least check whether they're male or female? If they're female.
Oh no, that's a medicine check. That's entirely possible. The skeleton is body. The skeleton the hips are very different. The skeleton is body. The hips are very different. You examine for a little bit of time, removing pieces of armor where you have to. You do find out that only one of these is a female elf. She is of the other two who are sort of more huddled up in the back. Actually, they're not huddled. They were placed very deliberately in some sort of respectful way. She's a little further out. With a sword in one hand and a shield that is littered with arrowheads. The actual shaft of the arrows have deteriorated at this point. And it actually seems that clutching in her shield hand, she had a pendant that is of a golden eagle.
So Melody would basically, after determining that, she wouldn't pick up the pendant, she would go get Vale across and sort of say, this elf is a woman with shield and sword, and then motions towards the pendant.
Vale would sink down to his knees and inspect the pendant, see whether he recognizes it.
You do. It's not so much a pendant that you ever really remember your mother having. But in the worship of the sun, there are a few figures in that sort of own sect of its own faith. One of them is a celestial eagle named Berenthor that your mother particularly worshipped. Not above the sun, but that was just sort of the aspect of all the aspects of the eagle: the perception, the freedom. Maybe a little bit too much of the freedom, the message of the freedom passed down to Vale in young stories. And it's this very beautiful elvish crafted pendant, and you wouldn't even be surprised if there was some magic in it. A lot of the sun elf magic, because it's just around divinity for so long, just absorbs some sort of holy magic. But it would very much be something your mother would have, even though you don't remember her having it.
Vale lowers his head down and clasps the pendant in his hand. You can see Melody, probably because you're the only one close enough, that the knuckles on his hand are starting to go white. And he stays like this for a long time, like elven time. It's probably about 20 minutes pass as he's like this.
During that, you hear the waves crashing on the rocks, the ships in the graveyard creaking heavily.
Melody would just place a hand on his back gently, just stand there for as long as he stays down.
This is what sun elves were born for, Melody. To die for others. This is why I cannot put any faith in our gods. We came here. These people, they came here to help others because they asked, and they died alone in a horrible frozen land. We should burn the bodies, what remains.
If that is what you wish.
As they're having that moment, and you two can hear that, Gilwyn and Haven, but you're letting him have his space. Haven, you sort of listen more to the sound of the sea, because the sea is new to you, more or less.
I was listening.
I know you were listening, but you were listening to the sound of the sea, as well as the words. Haven has a degree of politeness, as like, okay, this is a personal thing, sort of demands his attention somewhere else, and listens to the waves on the rocks, and on the ships, and the creaking of the broken ships. And then you hear something else. And at first you just think it's another sound of the sea. But you've heard bone animate before. You hear the sound of bones jangling together, but not a skeleton walking. At first you think maybe that there's a skeleton caught under the rocks, but you peer, but you don't look stupidly. You don't like, ah. And then you start to see, as the waves like sort of recede in a moment, you see a mound of bone, of skulls, of hands, of ribs, and then the water covers it over again. And then the next time the water recedes, it's closer, and one of the many bone arms in the mound of bone starts clawing onto the rock, and this pile of corpses made up of orc, elf, human, dragonborn starts lurching its way towards you.
Vale?
And that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes. See you later.